Will the PUMA Deviate Nitro Elite 3 be my upcoming marathon shoe? Well, after setting PBs in the 5k, 10k and half marathon in the shoe already this year, it makes perfect sense. However, after experiencing some heel rub over the half marathon races, it made me hesitant to take them over the longer distance. So I guess there's only one thing left to do. And of course, it all starts with a test. And obviously the first ones up for testing are going to be the PUMA Deviate Nitro Elite 3. These are my #1 choice, but as you guys know, or may not know, I have had some issues when I push the distance in these shoes. And so it's important for me to get some testing in this far out so that I know whether I can rule these out or count them in. And I talk a lot on this channel about getting yourself prepared as early out as possible. I know the nutrition I'm going to be using, precision, fuel and hydration. The kit, well, I've run a lot of marathons and in a multitude of kit. It will be probably in the combat shorts, I should think, and then a vest, which I've run in multiple times in training per week. But as per the last training block last year for Abingdon, the shoes are the choice that I need to make, and I want to get this nailed down pretty soon. Now, I have two strong options. Realistically, I have three, and we'll go through those all after this test. But my #1, if I'm honest, is going to be these shoes. I have had so much success, but I'll get into why I'm just a bit hesitant shortly. Let me just get up this hill. So basically, with the PUMA Deviate Nitro Elite, I have set pretty much all my PBs in this shoe this year. It is phenomenal. But I did notice, especially in the longer races, Boddington 10 miler and the half marathons I've done, just towards the end, I get a little bit of Achilles rubbing. It's nothing crazy, and I've always said that I would not use this shoe on a marathon, but then it's not been uncommon for me in the past just to take the back of my ankles up for shoes. I've done that many times. So my goal today is to put 90 minutes to 1 hour 40 in this shoe, somewhere in and around there, and see how it holds up, because the most I've run in this shoe is a half marathon, and the longest half marathon I've done this year was Alicante, and that was 74 minutes and 58 seconds. And so it kind of seemed really silly to take this shoe out on a really long run when I've only run a maximum of 75 minutes in it, and that's when I start to get a bit of heel rub. So I programmed in today 30 minutes steady, which is what I'm doing now, just 5x3 on 3 off, reducing the intensity, because I have a 10k race in 3 days time on Monday, and then 30 minutes or 40 steady at the end, depending on how I feel. So without further ado, I'm going to lock in now and get this long run done. Then we'll go back and chat about the other options, and of course give you my feedback on this one. One of the cool things about summer training is if you prepare to grind and work through the heat and adapt, and you can stack up those weeks, is that you get cool things like this happen. Nearly 28 minutes in, average pace of 6:54, and the heart rate is technically in my easy zone, 138, 139. For the majority of this steady warm-up, I have been in the 130s. I've hit some of the hills, and of course it's gone into the 140s, but when it settles back down, it's a wonderful feeling. But getting aerobically fit like I am now in this early stage does not translate to a fast marathon. It helps, but as I've said in recent videos, we're just laying that foundation ready for the specific work to come later in the block. Let's get on with this. So that's the easy 3 of the 5 out of the way. The first 2 were downhill. This one is very, very gently downhill, and I've just locked into a rhythm where I felt like I'm working nicely at marathon effort but not pushing too hard, because of that 10k race in 3 days time. So I'm not aiming to rinse myself today. I'm aiming to get a good strong aerobic effort in, and I am honestly shocked at how low my heart rate is. It's still quite warm today, but we have had a temperature drop. The fact that the warm-up was in the 130s for the majority of it, that first rep didn't even touch 150. I'm actually making a note of my heart rate today. I'm actually watching it, and it got to 149, 152 in the second rep, 155 in the third, and I've just literally now 155 hit marathon zone, marathon area. That's what I would run my marathon at as a base level, and then I let it creep up into the 160s. I am honestly, this double threshold block right now is working wonders. Right, number 4, uphill. Here we go. Hiya. That was so brutal, that last one. I can't believe I timed it to hit the steepest part of the hill. Classic. But anyway, all done. So it's time for 30 or 40 minutes steady home now. Really good today. Been mega impressed, as always, by these shoes. What a treat to come out and do a long run in them. I hope I haven't used the last of their racing life today, but at the end of the day, I need to make sure that they're okay after 90 minutes, hour 40, whatever it might be. And there we go. That's the hour done. If they end up being okay, and I'll let you know at the end of the run, we should be hopping onto sports shoes, I think, and grabbing another pair. I think overall, just one more time before we get back to the office and talk about the other options, I'm going to say straight away, I want these to be okay at the end of this run. I want them to be good, because I think I want these to be my marathon shoe. I don't want to run in the fast R. I think my calves will blow out towards the end. I think they're a great 5 and 10k shoe, and I'll be using them at the 10k on Monday. Probably a half marathon shoe too, but I think, knowing me and how my form goes towards the end of a marathon, they're not going to do me any favours at all. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it properly. 1 hour 32. Heart rate 136. I am going downhill, but in this, let's say, steady cool down section, I have averaged in and around 141 to 143, which is pretty much top end zone 1, low end zone 2, and obviously now going downhill it's even lower. I have been blown away by fitness. I am wearing super shoes today, obviously that's going to help. I'm going to be more efficient, but I was doing a lot of these runs last block in my Adios Pro 3 last year, and there's no way my heart rate was anywhere near as low as it is. As I said though earlier, it doesn't count for anything until we get to the specific phase and we actually layer it on. Talked a lot in recent videos about getting aerobically fit, aerobically strong before layering on the specific work. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. I've got 3 or 4 more weeks left of this before things start to switch up, and I feel like I've got myself into a great place. But even better news, the shoes are great. Now, 2 things that are crossing my mind. Number 1, my Achilles and back of my heels were shredded after Alicante, and I needed a dip in the sea. So today's been great, no issues whatsoever. It's the intensity. The only way for me to tell that is when we get more into the specific phase and I use these on some more harder long runs. I've got the time on feet in them today and we'll get an hour 40, but is the intensity what I'm missing? But on a more positive note, at least they've put themselves in contention, and I will say it again, I want these to be my marathon shoe. So more testing to come. Let's go back to the office and talk about all the options. So there we go, solid long run in the PUMA Deviate Nitro Elite 3. As I mentioned, just a little bit worried that it could have been the lack of intensity maybe, but we're just gonna have to test it further down the line. Very excited though, hour 40 in the bank in this shoe, 15 miles covered, and if I'm honest with you, I'll be going for a PB, so I'm hoping that I would only have had to have stayed in it for another hour. So it's good time on feet, but what are the other options? Well, this is the other strong contender, the Adios Pro 3. So I'm a bit of a pickle with this shoe, if I can fold this down. From my perspective, I did all of my Abingdon long runs last year in this shoe, but had a plan to race in the Next Percents. Now, the Next Percent version 2 and version 1 are shoes that I have got my marathon PBs in it. I've run the best in them, which is why I think I get on with the Deviate Nitro Elite so well. Very similar profile, just a much gentler carbon plate scoop, so it's much more comfortable when you're running faster. A bit less discomfort under the arch, let's put it that way. But I nailed so many 20-mile long runs and use this as a training shoe. I have raced in this shoe before. It doesn't quite have the pop and the sharpness over the shorter distances, but a lot of you were basically screaming at me through the screen and in the comment section last year to say, Andy, why are you just not racing in this shoe? And I agree, it made sense to give this one a go. Obviously, at the time, I had about 300 or 400 miles in the shoe and didn't have a fresh pair, so I was never really going to go for it then. However, I'm going to be doing exactly the same again during this training block. This shoe is going to be used a lot during training, and I'm definitely open to racing in it. The amount of 20-mile runs and 22, 23 as well that I've done in a Pro 3 is ridiculous. So I know they work over the distance. I know they work really well for me at marathon paces, and they do feel really comfortable. And of course, the third and final one is the Next Percent. This is probably my least favorite option to go down. I've got to peel myself away from using those shoes. Obviously, they were great, but I have found since using the Deviate Nitro Elite 3 that I actually do prefer using those over the Next Percent anyway. However, I do have 3 pairs that are all just sat under 100 miles. They've easily got another marathon or 2 left in each of the pairs. So I have that option there. Again, I have raced 3 marathons in a pair of Next Percents now and had no issues whatsoever. So it's great to know that I've got 2 shoes, the Next Percent and the Pro 3, that I know will cover the distance okay. However, I really want to use a Deviate Nitro Elite 3. I'm just going to have to wait to put some similar long runs like I did today, obviously a little bit longer as I get closer to the goal race, but with a bit more intensity, and just see what happens. And I'm sure there'll be other shoes that come out between now and October that may or may not come into a contention, but from my perspective, I just want to get locked in and know what I'm using. I'm not particularly interested in too many new super shoes in the second half of the year. Even if they come out, I'd rather lock in, practice in them and get myself sorted so that I have none of that to worry about. The only one that kind of sparks my interest a bit is I see the new ASICS Tokyo speed things that are coming out in July. Finally, it looks like they might be doing my size. Again, banging the drum on this for years. I don't know if they've ever watched my videos or how they've decided to introduce bigger sizes, but it looks like a 13 is going to be on the cards. So they are potentially an option. But again, I'm not sure I want to commit and add another option into the mix. So I guess to answer the question, do I want to run my marathon in this? Yes, absolutely. It's very close between this and the Pro 3. I've had such good success in this earlier this year. I've had a clean sweep of PBs. I kind of want to finish it off and do my best at the marathon to see how this one goes. But also I do just have that niggling doubt in the back of my mind, in which case I would probably end up scouting around and getting another pair of Pro 3s and just use those. But this is the one that I really want to use, and I guess more testing's required. We'll see over the next few weeks. And for any of you out there that are building up to your autumn marathons, I'd love to know if you've locked in what your marathon shoe is going to be, or if you're just going to wait for a few more shoe releases later in the year and see what takes your fancy. Let me know in the comments what you're going to be racing yours in. It'd be great to hear what your choices are down there. Speaking of shoes, if you're interested in seeing my top most used shoes of 2025 so far this year, check out this video up here. Some great shoes in that list. And if you're interested in more shoe content, check out this video down here. You'll love that one too, and I'll see you guys over on one of those.